Once upon a time, in the heart of the vast savannah, there was a thriving village called Ndembo. In this village lived a young man named Jabari, who was known for his arrogance and complete disregard for tradition. He was the son of a wealthy cattle herder, and because of his privileged life, he believed he was above the laws of the land and the wisdom of the elders. Jabari mocked the village traditions, laughed at the elders' stories, and refused to honor the spirits of his ancestors. He saw no value in the rituals that had been passed down for generations. While the other young men of the village showed respect for their elders and sought their blessings, Jabari ignored them, convinced that his father's wealth would always shield him from misfortune. One fateful evening, during the sacred festival of the ancestors, the village gathered around the great baobab tree to offer prayers and gifts to the spirits of their forefathers. The elders warned that during this night, the ancestors walked among the living, and disrespecting them could bring terrible consequences. But Jabari scoffed at these beliefs. As the villagers left offerings of food, beads, and kola nuts beneath the tree, he stepped forward and kicked the sacred bowl over, spilling the food into the dust. "The ancestors are long dead," he shouted. "They do not eat. They do not walk among us. Why do you waste time worshipping the past?" Gasps filled the air as silence fell over the village. The elders stared at him with sorrow in their eyes, shaking their heads. One of the oldest women, Mama Zuba, stepped forward, her frail fingers trembling as she pointed at Jabari. "Young man," she whispered, her voice filled with an ancient weight, "you have dishonored the spirits who watch over us. Mark my words, the ancestors do not forget." Jabari laughed loudly, but his amusement did not last long. That night, as he lay in his hut, a cold wind swept through his room. The air smelled of burning wood and something far more ancient and rotten. Suddenly, a deep, guttural voice filled the space. "You have forgotten us, but we have not forgotten you." Jabari sat up in terror. In the darkness, shadowy figures emerged from the corners of his hut, faceless but with hollow, glowing eyes. They whispered in a tongue long forgotten, their voices wrapping around him like a suffocating mist. He tried to scream, but no sound escaped his lips. The next morning, the villagers found Jabari outside his hut, trembling, his once strong body reduced to a weak and fragile state. His voice was gone, stolen by the spirits of the ancestors. Desperate, his father took him to the village elders, who sat in a circle, deep in thought. After much silence, Mama Zuba spoke again. "There is only one way," she said. "Jabari must journey to the cave of echoes, where the spirits of the forgotten ancestors dwell. He must humble himself before them, seek their forgiveness, and restore the offerings he desecrated." With no other choice, Jabari embarked on the perilous journey. The cave of echoes was deep in the forest, guarded by the spirits of those who had been disrespected in life. As he entered the cave, the air grew colder, and a deep humming sound surrounded him. A great voice boomed from the darkness, shaking the ground beneath his feet. "You who have dishonored us, why have you come?" Jabari, unable to speak, fell to his knees and wept. He took out a bundle of fresh kola nuts, beads, and food, placing them gently on the sacred altar inside the cave. With his hands trembling, he pressed his forehead to the ground in deep remorse. The shadows stirred, and the air shifted. A whisper filled the cave. "You are forgiven, but you must never forget." At that moment, his voice returned. He gasped, touching his throat as tears of relief rolled down his cheeks. Jabari rushed back to the village, humbled and forever changed. From that day on, he became the most devoted keeper of tradition, ensuring that the ancestors were honored and that no soul in the village ever forgot the spirits who watched over them. And so the tale of Jabari was told for generations, a lesson for all who dared to forget that the past is never truly gone. It lives among us, always watching, always remembering. This story teaches us that our actions have consequences, and respect for traditions, ancestors, and elders is essential. Even when we stray, redemption is possible if we sincerely seek forgiveness and make amends. Jabari's transformation serves as a reminder that wisdom comes from understanding our past and honoring those who came before us. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating folk tales. See you in the next one.